Hello?
Sir, I'm going to start here, sir.
Okay, it's audible, right?
Okay. Audible, sir.
Fan sound വരുന്നുണ്ടോ?
Sorry, sir.
Disturbance. Fan
ഇല്ല,
okay.
disturbance ഇല്ല, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Greetings from Universal Engineering College and welcome everyone to the fourth day of our webinar series. And today we have with us Mr. Nikhil Valsan as our speaker. And this is going to be the best and the informative session as we need to upgrade our skills in this pandemic. And today he is going to explain us about the successful international career through LinkedIn. And we welcome you all to the explosion of the knowledge with speakers around the globe. And it's my privilege to call upon Ms. Ramya VR, HOD, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you. All our attendees to hear our resource person, Mr. Nikhil Valsan, on the topic Path Towards International Career. He is currently pursuing his PhD in Canada. He will be guiding our interested minds to sharpen our profound skill set. I welcome you, sir. Once again, I welcome all our attendees to the webinar session. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Today we have our speaker, Mr. Nikhil Valsan, who is a PhD scholar in Rand University, Toronto, Canada. He is doing his research in biomedical engineering in the area cardiac electrophysiology. He completed his BTech degree in Electrical and Electronics from Vimal Jyoti College of Engineering in the year 2009. After that, he lectured undergraduate engineering students of Srinarayana Guru College of Engineering and Technology for 1 year. Then he took his MTech degree in Industrial Drives and Control from Government Engineering College, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Kottayam in 2012. Then after 3 years of teaching career in Vimal Jyoti, he joined in Rand University, Toronto as research assistant. In his learning and teaching life, he was recognized by the international chapter IEEE several times. In 2013, he got IEEE Master Thesis Award for his postgraduate research. Then IEEE recognized him as Best Student Branch Chapter Advisor in 2015 and 2016. Now, along with his research, he is serving as IEEE Student Branch Area Chair, R6, Canada. And this is our speaker for today, and he is going to give a deep insight about the career path or international career path. And before starting, let's give some instructions. Feedback come attendance link will be posted in the chat box of Zoom and YouTube live at the end of the session. Again, Kerala is having a good weather this day, so we hope it will permit us to give us a perfect live stream. And if there is any technical error, please cooperate with us, and any inconvenience at our side will be addressed. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the question box of your Zoom control panel. I'll bring them up during the presentation, and we will have a time for Q&A at the end. Now, we will turn the time to our speaker, Mr. Nikhil Valsan. Sir, you can.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your welcome now. And once again, good morning for all those who are from India and for rest of the world, whatever it may be. So welcome to this session. Before we start, I would just like to have some disclaimers about what I'm going to talk today. First thing is that if you have to have a good or a fine international career, there is no one type of shortcuts or an easy go. It's all depends on your eligibility, skill, hard work, consistency, and also a factor of luck. So what I actually intend with this 1 hour talk is like, we can just polish up or give a finishing look, or to make your process better or smoothen your entire process. Again, once you're looking into a career aspect or career view, again, the strategies are varied from different to different region. Like the way you approach for a company in India is different from Arab countries, and it's very different in US or Canada. And in this series, I just focus on Western style of career, like especially with European Union, US or Canada. So how you can get into a job in these countries, what are the strategies they follow, how they actually reach into the candidates, how a job aspirant can reach back to them in return. And again, let me remind you, there is no universal law for a career growth or a career entry. It's completely based on your hard work and eligibility. And in this webinar, I have used some images. All those images, I have taken it from the internet or some personal LinkedIn profiles. And I would just like to share my experience, which I had come through all these years in my professional life, as well as with my I have been working with IEEE for about 8-10 years. So I will just like to share how I started off my career and just some basic things, what you have to look into. And I expected the target audience to be mostly Indian, so I prepared slides based on that. But anyhow, I had tried to make it a much more generalized manner. Again, in this webinar, since I am from electrical background, most of the terminology or some of the words I would be using would be based on electrical engineering aspects, but doesn't matter what our branch you belong to. After all, the core region remains the same. So it doesn't matter whether I talk about the electrical or electronics, it's all stands same for all other branches. And within this 1 hour, I may not be able to cover up all the things which I intended to tell, but I will try to speed up as fast as possible to cover maximum of that. And we'll be having a semi-formal or an informal way. If you have any doubt, you can just type in your chat box. Probably at the end, the moderator would be asking me, or we'll have a question and answer session at the end. And also I request the moderator to keep a timing. It would be very better if you could warn me after 30 minutes and after 45 minutes so that I can just keep up my time.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we'll just begin. So before entering into the first slide, let me talk about my field, which is called as the cardiac electrophysiology. Many of the time when I speak to someone else, when I am back in India, they just ask me, what type of study do you have? When I just tell cardiac electrophysiology, most of the time people look at me and tell, you studied engineering, right? So how does it comes with the cardiac electrophysiology? So for those who are having interest in these areas, let me just brief you in one slide. This area comes under biomedical engineering department. So biomedical, it's a wide range, covers anything that's related with the human body. So in cardiac electrophysiology, I am working on with areas related with cardiac research, wherein we know most of the deaths occurring in Canada and USA are from cardiac arrest. So far, there is no any particular method to just recover those patients who are having the cardiac arrhythmia or cardiac arrest. So my area of interest, my work, everything is related with something with that area, how this can be defibrillated in a very good or a better manner. And what are the basic requirements in this field is, it's almost related with the signal processing, biomedical, electrophysiology, you must know some anatomy, you need to know some applied mathematics, basic biophysics, electromagnetism, or basic, it's something like a all branch which is being mixed together. It's a very good branch. Yeah. So other research which is going on here is something related with the cancer research. We have again ophthalmology research, diabetics, even psychology research is also being associated.
ഇവിടെ കേട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക ബാക്കിനാട് ഉച്ചക്കലത്തേക്കുള്ള ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക അത് അമ്മ വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നമുക്ക് ഒരുമിച്ച് അടുക്കള കയറട്ടെ അപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഇതൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് തീർക്കട്ടെ ഇല്ല
Hello. I think.
Sorry, sir, some disturbance. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. So what's the importance of your getting into a right career is that, like, once you finish off your studies by around 2025, the area where you're going to work is expected to be around 40 or 50 years on an average. So to have a successful career, what actually we mean by this one is you should have a good fiscal security, which means you should be paid enough so that you are so satisfied with that. Again, it needs to ensure your peace of mind. Again, your work you are doing should be enjoyable and it should be satisfactory. And unfortunately, most of the cases, almost 90 or 80%, all these four factors doesn't converge together. If you're lucky enough, all these four would go and converge. If then it's okay, but still what we expect is all these four factors for a good career. Now, if we look into some examples around us, we might have seen some of the students may be very good in their academics, but they fail in their career. Or we might have seen people telling like, oh, he's expected to be having a good salary, a good job and remuneration, but still he's not at the right peak. So what are the major reasons? If we look into, we can find that first thing is that once you finish off your study, you need to have a godfather. A godfather means it can be any a relative, a friend, or anybody to give the right guidance at the right time. And again, the directions is important. And again, the point of entry, where you actually enter into your career. Is there enough growth? Where do you enter? Or is it just like you just enter into a field and after 10 years, you don't have any growth and still you are at the same level? It's not of good use. Again, the comfort zone. The first job you enter, if you feel very comfortable over there, you can guarantee that you won't be having any further growth afterwards. So try to break the comfort zone. And of course, some personal issues. If there are some personal issues associated, probably many of the students or any job aspirants may not be able to reach well in their career. So for those who are looking for a job, as a matter of like many of people, we have given received the feedback that we are having very low marks. So first thing I would like to remind you all of is that once you have finished your education, marks is not the important factor. You can just keep your fold your mark list and keep it in your pocket. No one is going to ask for your marks once you have graduated or finished your course. But make sure you're having the minimum cutoff or the requirement. Normally it would be around 65 to 75. Keep in mind your academics doesn't go beyond that cutoff, but anyhow you'll have to manage around what I told, around 65 to 75 is the normally people they start for taking the freshers. So unless you write a government examination or if you're going for a further academic research, no one is worried about your mark list. So keep up at that. Now, if you are very good in studies, if you are very focused, what I would recommend is that for the students, especially from India, the best option would be a government sector undertakings. If you are passionate in learning, you can go for higher studies. Then if you feel this too doesn't feel good, then it's the time to look into for job, which is abroad. Again, if you're looking for abroad jobs, again, you have to check into different factors, mainly with the geography, with the climate, and if there is any personal issues, everything you have to take care of. Especially in a country like Canada, we are expecting around minus 20 degrees Celsius from like December to May, June. So that's what I tell about the climate. Again, the distance. If you require frequent traveling back to home, you need to look into Arab countries. Probably that would be the best option for you. Europe or US or Canada would be around like 24 hours journey. So probably If you're homesick or you have any issues like that, it's not a best choice. So keep in mind all these factors. And if you find, okay, I'm good, I'm okay with everything, you can just look in, start for a job search. So first of all, keep in mind, you should have the minimum requirements or the eligibility for an employer to employ yourself. Normally, uh, as I mentioned, you should have a percentage or a aggregate around 60 to 70% if you're a fresher. If you are experienced, no one is going to ask about your what's the graduate CGPA or GPA, what you have done in your master's on. If you are freshers, marks are important, but if you're experienced, it's okay for that. And as I said, as we're moving on, experience is the only thing which matters. And you should start your job search, and it should be focused, smooth. And the best thing is that you should have a good resume to attract your employer. Now, in these countries, how you can apply? Is it something like you see a posting in the newspaper or any website? So what are the methods to apply? First thing is that there are recruitment drives. Of course, there are many recruitment drives happening all over. So you can just directly attend that one. Again, second one is that direct contact or walking. It's only possible if you are inside a particular country. You can just go into the company directly. You can just ask them. You can just give out your resume, keep in touch with them. And the next option is you can have either online or offline interview. Many companies recruiting from US are having online interviews. They use either Skype or any other modes or the softwares which they prefer. So they will have some online interviews, and you can get selected by them. Again, there are few companies they prefer interviews over the phone also. Again, keep in mind regarding these countries, especially in the Western world, there are a lot of fake agencies and companies. I even receive like 2 or 3 messages like monthly. I got an appointment order from this company in Canada or US. Can you just check me whether is it legitimate? Is it a good one? So most of the case we find that these are fake companies. So always keep in mind, don't just get fallen into their trap. Now, once you apply, the main issue with this Western world is that even if you apply for many companies, you may not get a call back or you may not get any response. So we will just see what are the reasons why most of the companies along this Western world does not respond back or doesn't give you a call back. The main thing is that the job search methodology you should follow. Normally, in the Canadian, as per the Canadian standard, what the HR department or the people working with the recruiting, they actually recommend is that they just ask us to keep a record in which you have your name, address, and contact of the company in which you are applying. Write the name of POC. POC refers to the point of contact. Who was the person or whom did you contact at that company? Again, what's the action taken? What did that point of contact tell you? Suppose he might have said call after 1 month, or sometimes you may have received a message, no, there is no vacancy right now. Sometimes they would say, okay, we are requiring a person with such skill set. If you have such knowledge in some A, B, C, or C softwares, you are okay. So just write what's the action taken and then just follow. Most of the recruiters ask us to keep this standard and keep track of all the employment or the employees you contact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So once you reach around 40 or 50, maybe you may get one callback. So this is the thing what you have to expect in these West countries. Don't think that once you apply 5 or 6 companies you are going to receive a callback. No, that's not true with these cases. So probably you'll have to do it again and again till you get a callback from any of these companies. One thing you have to keep in mind is that never stop, keep on contacting. Maybe you have to write to maybe 50, 60 or 70 companies. Don't stop, keep on doing. At the end, at one point, definitely you're going to get a callback. Now, if you are a fresher, what they recommend is that you start with base companies. Like, don't just directly applying to big multinational companies. Start with base companies or a startup or a new company. And once you get, once you have a good profile working in that company, you can just switch it on later. Now, in most of the cases, while we take the feedback from the students or job seekers, in the Canada, especially in a recent research, we just found out that even if many of the students, when they apply to the companies, they still don't receive any feedback, or they don't get any reply from the company. So what the problem is? So the problem is mainly with your resume. The job requirements in these countries, they have a specific job requirements, and most of the case what the job seekers do is they would be having a single resume. They would be sending it to each and every companies, the same resume for all the companies. This is not a good practice. The thing is that once you send a resume to a company, you should know how an algorithm is going to select your resume. It's not a human who is actually selecting. You are reading out your resume at the company and inviting you for an interview. It's actually a system or a computer. It's doing that job. So how does this computer screen your resume? There lies the importance of the keywords and how you should redefine your resume so that you just get a callback from your employer. So first thing I would like to tell you is identify the keywords. Keywords, by keywords, what actually we mean is that here in this slide, this is an advertisement. I taken it from internet. See what they have given. They are expecting some general duties. They are expecting some required experience, and they are also expecting a desired experience. This is an advertisement for a particular job posted in a Canadian company, it seems. So identify the keywords means just look into each of the sentence. You can see design of the electronic circuit. Second case, in the second letter sentence or the word, you can see validate. Third one, it's I have underlined, it's as a schematic or PCB assembly. So these are the keywords that the employer expect in your resume. And if you send a resume without these keywords, the computer is not going to select your resume. So while creating a resume, make sure that you identify the keywords or the main requirement of the employer and you redefine your resume as such. So if you are applying for this advertisement, your resume should contain at some point or somewhere these keywords like design of electronic or validate, schematic or PCB assembly or prototype or analyze, troubleshoot. All these are keywords. If your resume doesn't have these keywords, I can give you 100% assurance that your resume is going to be rejected, because the computer would be just looking out for these words only. Unless and up to these are not present, whatever experience you have, whatever qualifications you have, whatever expertise you have, the computer is not going to select your resume. So make sure once you are creating a resume, all the keywords that is being expected by an employer should be included in that. And this is the point why we tell you need to have different resume for different job postings, because each and every job posting, their duties, their requirements and experience would be different. So think of a case where you are sending the same resume for all the jobs. How this is going to be matched? It's never going to be matched. So for each job posting, I again remind you, create a new resume for each job you are applying, and that should contain all these keywords. Now, it's really going to be a tedious job to create a resume for each and every job. So what we were being taught here is that to create a master resume. A master resume means it's a resume. It's something, it's elaborated resume. It can be around 7 or 10 pages, doesn't matter. It can be extended to whatever extent you need. So the idea behind master resume is that for a particular job, you may not be able to collect all the required skills or the your assets into a single resume. So for that, what you can do is create a master resume. Definitely this is not for applying, but in that resume, include each and every minute details of your achievements, your experience, your qualifications, everything you can include it in your master resume. So that once you find any particular job, you can look into master resume and take whatever valid points from that master resume for that particular job postings. Again, this can be expanded to as many as pages as you want. And still, if you don't know how to create a master resume, just search for some job postings like the one see, and in this job posting you can see some duties and experience. See, is there anything that is suitable for you? If so, copy down and paste it in your master resume. So look into different advertisement. Again, you can see different keywords, different skill set. So you can just copy paste them, keep it in your master resume so that you can use it at later stage. Again, referring to this advertisement helps you to have a better vocabulary, and you can just section them like 1, 2, 3 so that you can easily use it at the later time. Again, this master resume is not to apply for any job, but it's something like a reference resume, which includes all your details in one single resume. Now, if you're going to apply for a company, that's called as the targeted resume. So the targeted resume should be maximum of 2 pages. That's most recommended. And this targeted resume, again, if you want to prepare one, you can take it from a valid points from your master resume. While preparing target resume, keep in mind, it should not be elaborated, maximum of 2 pages. Second one, know your audience, whom you are going to speak with. Speak in the language so that you can communicate with them through your targeted resume. And there are certain styles in which the targeted resume should be created. I will just mention that in the upcoming slides. And the first thing is that where you should market yourself. Normally, in the research done, they tell that the top center is the best position to market yourself. So what you write at the top, at the center, would be the eye-catching one, and it's the best place to market yourself. And as per the standards over here, we are not expecting any objective, like you start your resume with an objective. It's not required as such. Again, we have in most of the resume, we find that education qualifications you'll be focusing at the front, and it would be highlighted most of the case. But normally nowadays, most of the recruiters, they don't, we get a feedback that they don't prefer that. So probably your education qualifications, everything you can include at the back end or at the last. Another thing to keep in mind while creating a targeted resume is that don't use any sort of tables, because as I told, the computer is the one which is going to analyze all this. So most of the applicant tracker softwares, they can't detect this type of tables. So probably what you actually intend to convey may not be transmitted to the maximum extent you have written in that. So try to avoid any sort of tables in your resume. Again, whatever you are writing in your resume, you are accountable for each and every word. Again, make sure or keep in mind that no one is going to read your resume in full. They are probably skimming through that resume. So maybe 3 or 4 seconds only one person is going to look at your resume. So the resume should be well written so that it gets catchy enough. Within this 4 seconds, you should communicate with your survey or the job provider. Some more points I would like to add is, if you are a fresher without much experience, don't write some sort of engineer in your title. Once you are graduated, you are not an engineer. So most of the cases, they prefer like writing engineering professional. Like if you are graduated in electrical engineering, don't write the title as electrical engineer. Rather than you can use something like electrical engineering professional or mechanical engineering professional or graduate, something like that. Another recommendation is usage of professional email, like @IEEE.org. Like there are many professional organizations all around the world. You can get the subscriptions with around, maybe if you're a student, it's, I think for IEEE it's around $27 or $30. So once you have a membership with such organization, you will have an email ID with their domain, like IEEE.org. So if you're applying to a company with your name at gmail.com or at yahoo.com or some mail IDs, it would be much better if you use a professional email ID. So to get a professional email ID, just you can get a subscription from this organization in your branch, whether it be electrical, civil, mechanical, whatever it may be. Just see which are the international organizations working in your area. Just get their subscription and you can get their mail ID. Again, you can search or Google eye tracker study. So it just gives how it's a study which is carried out, details about how or where the people look into your resume mostly. So all those areas marked in red in this eye tracker study, it's the best place to market yourself. So for writing a resume, start with name and contact info with your designation, like the one which is shown below. Again, this is an image taken from the internet. As you have seen, I have mentioned, you should start from the top at the center, the name with the address, phone number, and the email ID. Email ID, again, as I told, if you can get something with a professional email like .IEEE.org, it's very good. If you have any LinkedIn profile, you can also add that. So name, address, phone number, email, and then the title. What position you are working, or what is your to what position you are going to apply for. So this is how you should begin with. Once you write your name and details, next come is the profile summary. Again, don't try to elaborate this one. Make it very short. Try to be more informative rather than writing sentences as such. Include maximum technical details in this section. Don't write anything about your soft skills in these sections. And you can also use the bulleted format. Again, I have taken this from an internet source. You can see he's written automation engineer, 4+ years electrical engineering experience, troubleshooting, C programming, robotics and automation, problem solving, remote, IO, AutoCAD, analytical drives and motors. See, just a second of look into this one, I get a catch that he's an automation engineer. And if I'm looking for a person who is experienced with C programming and AutoCAD, see, within 1 or 2 seconds, I get catch of these things, and thereby your resume gets more attractive, or the job provider, he would be feeling more confident with your resumes. So you will start off with your name, address, details, and then the profile summary. Again, the profile summary, short, informative, and if possible, you can use bullet also. Next thing you have to look into is that while you are writing about your profile summary again, you should mirror your experience with your requirement. As we have seen in our earlier slide, this is the requirement. All the requirements they have given in the advertisement should be included in your experience or in your detail. So mirror your experience with your requirement. For that, again, as I mentioned, look into the job description, what the employer is looking for, think in that angle, and then prepare a resume as such. Redefine all those duties and responsibilities based on the job description. And again, highlight your keywords. Again, this is something, again, I have taken it from the internet. Like, he has actually highlighted everything which the employer was seeking for. Now, once you write in your research, in your resume, any sort of accomplishment, it should be proven. What I mean is, if you are writing a sentence like, I have increased the profit of the company from to 10%, it should be quantified. Like, to what extent? Also, you should tell what are the methodologies you have adopted. So you have done such and such to get such a result. I have done changes in what design to get this result. So everything should be proven, it should be quantified and justified. Don't write simple long sentences boosting yourself that you have done so and so. So whenever you claim for some accomplishment, it should be proven with enough justification. Also, try to keep your resume outstanding from others. Also, in the career history, the job specific accomplishment should be given very important, just because this is going to help the employer to distinguish your performance with the others. So if you have done something extraordinary, or if you have something very important to take or bring it into their notice, you can use it or include it in your career history. Again, make sure once you write this section, don't confuse the employer. Again, you should write the latest job first, moving into the descending order. Like, first you should start from the work you are doing right now, then talk about the work you have done before that, and then talk about the one which you are doing previously. So it should be something in the descending order. And as I told, quantify everywhere, where or wherever possible, in terms of money, percentage, efficiency, or any other terminologies. Next, whenever you include any date or year, it should be transparent. Months are also very important. Like, if you have worked from January 2015 to May 2015, right from January to May. Don't delete those months. It seems like hiding any gap in between creates a negative impact on the employer. Again, I would recommend to have a professional membership in whichever area you are being working at. Like for the electrical, as I told, there are IEEE organization. Again, for the computer society also you have for mechanical, civil, or whatever branches it may be. Try to get a professional membership so that you can get better networking among them. Also, the most important and one which we don't care is the reference which we use at the end of the resume. The reference is very important in the Western countries. To be frank, almost or most of the jobs are not like advertised, or you cannot see it in the open space. Most of the jobs they will be giving through the referencing only. So how to get a good reference? For that, you need to have some sort of a good professional network. So in the coming few slides, I will just skip how you can build a good professional network. So a good reference is very important in getting a job in these countries. So keep in mind to have a very good reference, and make your resume as simple as possible. Do not try to over exaggerate or confuse the one who is going to look into that. Make it very simple as possible. The next thing I would like to bring into your notice is something called as elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is what it's a small or a 30-minute speech. That's what we can say. You think of a scenario where you meet somebody who is working in your own field. You met somebody at an elevator or an outside or at some place. If you're given a 30 seconds, how you're going to introduce yourself to him. For each and every job seeker, it is very important that you need to have an elevator pitch, because if you have something solid with you, once you find somebody from your own field at any conferences or any other location, how to grab their attention. So normally we do give training for to create such elevator pitch. So what you should basically do is write a small speech. If you are given a 30 seconds, how you are going to market yourself. For example, you meet a MD of a company. Within 30 seconds, how you are going to tell you are so and so, you are interested in such and such things. So I would like to have be in contact with you, or whatever it may be. So how you are going to communicate that in a 30-second span. So this is what is called as the elevator pitch. It should be sharp, short, and precise. Once you have a very good elevator pitch, you can grab the attention of the employer. Thereby, you can build a professional network with them. Another thing, what we normally recommend is to have a visiting cards always with you. Just keep a visiting card with you, because in the Western culture especially, once you meet anyone, it's so formal that you can give any visiting cards or you can hand over, so that at any future events, probably they can give you a call back. So always make sure that you're having a visiting card always with you. Next, I would like to brief you about the importance of a professional networking. So as I told, in your resume, you need to have a good reference. And good reference in your resume means half of your job search is being done. So how to get a good reference is, you should have a professional networking. Networking means it should be all around the globe. So how to become, or how you can be more international is, you can look into any sort of international agencies. If they are giving any sort of volunteering opportunities, Like even the United Nations is giving a lot of programs every year. You can just apply into that. Most of them are free, like they would be covering all your expenses. Just apply with them. See, is there any opening? If you get any chance, go travel and create a network all around the globe. Again, there are many international conferences which are conducted every year. Look into the schedule, apply for each and every conferences, attend them, and get yourself within a professional members of your own area, so that you can use these people for a good guidance and get a direction from them. So it is very important that you need to have a professional uh, network which is related with your area or your interest. Another method which is more prevalent in these Western countries is the use of this LinkedIn profile. In India, it's not much used because most of the job seekers or the employees, they just have a direct recruitment. But especially in the countries like Europe and US, the LinkedIn profile plays a very important role. While you have a LinkedIn profile, the first thing you have to take in care is you should have a good profile photo. Again, that profile photo should be having high clarity. It should be very recent. You should be having some sort of smile, and you should look professional. And your attire or the dress code also should be very important. Again, you can also upgrade or update your background. In the slide, I have taken two images that's again taken from the internet, from the LinkedIn profile. You can see William Brams. Look at his profile, look at his image. It's looking so professional. He's smiling. The photo is very having very good clarity. It seems very professional. And again, in the second image, you can see how she has changed the background. You can also change your background. The normal background is the one in the blue color. It's the LinkedIn's default background image. If you want, you can change your background also so that it looks much more professional. Because once you provide your employer with your LinkedIn profile, what we are going to look into is that once we just click on that profile, the first thing we come into your mind is the profile picture and your background. So once we look into that, you should get a very good impact on your employer. So the best thing to do is to have a good profile photo. Again, there is a website called photofeeler.com. So if you just upload your profile picture into that website, it's going to tell you the feedback of your profile picture, how good it is, what are the changes required. It gives you a ranking, how out of 100, how much mark you get for your profile photo, and what are the things to be changed. So try to have a good profile photo. You can just check it at the PhotoFeeler websites. Now, once you are done with your profile photo and the background, next thing is the headline and job title. Headline refers to the one which is written below the name. I have taken 3 screenshots, one lady and 2 gentlemen. See, you can see different methods. All the 3 have written their headline in different ways. The Tanya D. Silva, she is looking for new permanent job opportunities. See, in that one sentence, employer can understand that she is interested only with permanent job opportunities. This is one way of marketing. And with Derek Jones, look at him. I help business owners, HR, legal, workforce leaders can be compliant, keep labor cost line, and create award-winning workplace. He's actually describing his merits and what he's actually looking for. Again, another model is with Adrian. He has used something like a bulleted case. So it's up to you how you should market this one. So once you have you got your good profile picture and background ready, you should have a good headline. Normally, it should include your job title. So what designation you are working, your company name, and if there are any keywords, like if you are any coordinator, if you are any president, or if you are holding any sort of designations. Again, you can explain you about yourself in 1 or 2 sentences maximum in this area. So these are the 3 images, just I took it from internet. So once you have your profile picture, background, and your headline ready, the next thing is the profile summary. It would come just below your profile. This is the one from Katrina Otis, and this is the area where you can be a pretty bit elaborate. Again, at profile summary, keep in mind, no self-boosting is expected in this section. Write in the angle of view what an employer is expecting from you, or what you can actually provide to the employer. You can do such and such. So what you can do to the company, or write in the angle what the company expects from you. Again, if you are writing anything about yourself, provide the evidence for your claim. Like if you are going to tell that, or write that you are going to provide any sort of technical expertise in any sort of programming language, or any achievements you have done before, just provide the proof also with this profile summary. And again, this is the section where your experience should be very well written. And again, this profile summary should be result driven. Again, keep in mind, don't write anything boosting yourself. Write everything based on the results you have provided. If you have provided any sort of technical expertise, or if you have provided any sort of boosting for your company, if you have gained any sort of profit for your company, anything about your achievements with scales, magnitudes, or figures, anything can be included in your profile summary. And also write about the method adopted, how you have acquired these results, what are the steps you have taken to get into these results. So this is the one that's being expected from your profile summary. Again, don't keep on writing, keep it short, but it should be very, very informative. Again, once you have done with your profile summary, the important factor which comes later is the recommendation or endorsement. This is actually a section wherein you get endorsed by different people of your own area. If you get a good endorsement, you are half done with your job search. So make sure in whichever company you work in, you get a feedback or an endorsement from those company. Or if you have a good professional network, get an endorsement from people who are having professional degrees. So I have again taken few screenshots by 2 people. They have written about this guy. The first have written about Tom. He's wonderful at work with. So if this guy, Rico M, is having a high degree of designation, one such recommendation or endorsement is enough for you to get into a job. So that's why you need to have a good professional network. So if you don't have any endorsement or recommendation, ask for it. Write to your company where you have worked, ask them to give a recommendation or an endorsement, so that an employer, once you look into your profile, they can find what your previous company what's their feedback about you. So try to get the endorsement with all your companies you have worked with. Again, you can add some multimedia components in your LinkedIn profile. Again, you can use the Wix as the website for creating such multimedia contents. Again, keep in mind about the endorsement. Contact each company you have worked with, get endorsed from each and every place, involve in your own group, and get custom URL. Many of the case, we find that in job applicants, they will be writing all the long URL of the LinkedIn, but in the LinkedIn, you can get a customized URL. So use the custom URL so that it would be very short. Another thing I would like to bring into your notice is when you are using LinkedIn profile, don't use it like a social networking site like Facebook. One key point normally we recommend over here is try to get a maximum friends or the members from your professional network. Try to contact them in person. But the issue with the LinkedIn profile is that you may not be able to directly message to any people who are having a high degree or the designation. So what I can recommend you is LinkedIn is offering 1 month free subscription. So what you can do is subscribe for the LinkedIn profile. You can use it free for 29 days. Yeah, it seems 29 days you can use it for free, and the 30th day you can cancel your subscription. So what normally people do is that they use this free subscription, and within this 29 days they contact each and every people who are in their list. They get in contact with them, and at the end around 29th or 28th day they cancel the subscription. By this way you
Excuse me,
can,
sir.
yeah.
So
It's
we
the
have
time.
completed around 45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So what I recommend is that just be a premium member in the LinkedIn. Again, you can choose for the free subscription for 1 month, use it for the 29th day, and by the 30th day you can just cancel it out. So by this span of 28 days is much more enough to get in contact with any of the big tycoons of your own areas. So once you have a good professional networking using this LinkedIn profile, you can just then slowly create your own network using this LinkedIn. So try to use this feature and try to get into contact with people having good designation or who are they working with big companies. Next thing is that networking using professional bodies. As I told earlier, there are different professional bodies for each departments. You can have either IEEE, SAE or anything. So get a professional membership. One major advantage is that you can get a professional email ID, as I told in the first slide. Again, it's a good way to build a professional network because you can directly contact people, even if it is in the academician, if it is a researcher, or if there are people working with companies. It's a good way to keep in contact with those people. Again, keep in mind, in the Western world, the reference is the most important thing. If somebody is there to refer you to a company, it's almost 80 to 90% done that your job is okay. But the thing is, how to get a good reference? As I told, the networking using professional body is the easiest way. Just involve with them, keep building your professional network, thereby you get a good reference. Again, this professional body is a very large organization. It's just one end you can see. So if you are good enough, you can build your own profile using these networks. And as I told, keep your visiting cards ready anytime, anywhere. If you find anybody, just use that one. Now, how this professional body works in building the professional networks. You can be a volunteer in this organization, especially as I told, with the United Nations, there are a lot of programs. With the IEEE, again, we have a lot of programs. If there are any societies, you can look into the website where the events are being held. You can just contact them, email them. I would like to be a part of this one. I would like to be a volunteer for this program. So definitely they are going to give you the details of the programs. So travel around the world, get into people with your own areas of interest, and in, keep inside a professional network always. And uh, at the end, before concluding, uh, I would like to speak something a bit more about this professional body from my personal experience itself. Like, I have been working with IEEE for the last 8-10 years. Like each and every one of you, I also started with just I just graduated, and then during my masters I had been starting working with them, IEEE. So I had been just a member for the first year. Later on, I just understood what is the importance of this getting into this professional networking. So I started working with this IEEE. So I had been given chance to travel all around the world. I had been to different places. So how this is being done is get the professional membership, contact with these bodies, participate in all the events, get yourself into a professional network. If there are any conferences, especially international conferences outside India, try to be a part of that. Sometimes it may be expensive, like maybe it's going to cost you uh, maybe 50 or 60,000 if it is somewhere near in South Asia. But still, if you have any chance to attend any sort of international conferences, go, travel, and attend that conferences. Even if you don't have any sort of paper to present, be a part of that conferences by volunteering. There are different volunteering opportunities. You can write to them, ask to them. There are different financial aid also is available for volunteering opportunities. So get the details of those. If any one of them, if you are interested, you can contact me in person. I would let you know what are the uh, different possibilities given by IEEE. So be a part of these networks, be one among them, be inside a professional network, keep always building your network, always keep in touch with all those people. So these are the some basic things I would like to remind you, or just to keep in mind with these professional bodies and networks. So if you have any chance, even if from now, get into some sort of professional body and try to participate in all those sort of events. Even if it's going to be some sort of expensive, it's going to be fruitful, both in case of your experience and also with your professional networking. So try to be a part of all this. So I think it's almost the time. Like, I have given only the 1 hour time limit, so I have tried to cover almost everything with a resume, creating a LinkedIn profile, and how you can get into a professional body. So I would just like to finish off this webinar with this now. If you have any questions, we will have 10 or 15 minutes more to discuss your questions also. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar again. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, sir. If you have any questions, please do type it in the chat box so that I can. Sir, there is one question like, is it difficult to make a custom a resume every time we apply for a job?
Yeah, that's what I said. For each and every resume or the job application, you need to have a separate resume. That's what the Canadian standards, what we are being taught to. Keep different resume, each job posting with each resume. That's for that we actually, I had told about the master resume. Keep a master resume always with you so that at the time when you're applying to any particular job posting, you can select the one which is most suitable for a job title from your master resume in your targeted resume. So it's always recommended that, or it's always better to have a separate resume for each job postings. That's what we recommend.
Sir, can you explain about the procedures that we can adopt for applying for PhD there in
In
abroad,
Canada,
like procedures for applying PhD?
oh, for a PhD again, it differs. In US, it's different. In Canada, it's different. In Europe, again, it's different. In Canada, all the universities come under government, so or are autonomous institutes. So each and every universities have their own bylaws, their own governance. So if you would like to apply for them, just look into. You need to look into their website because being autonomous, each the universities are having different norms. Some universities require IELTS, some doesn't require. There are some which requires GRE in US. Again, that's not required in Canada. Again, Europe, again, we have different constraints. So it's always better to look into the website as such because there is no generalized terms and conditions for all.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question. Can you suggest any best applications to make a good resume?
Best application means, is it the app?
Like some best apps.
No, we always prefer, like here, while I work with some of the people in the HR departments also, they always recommend us to have a custom-made resume. The thing is, as I told, it's not a human being who is going to look into your resume. It's all the computer or the system is going to scan all sort of resume. So what they normally tell is that they will be always looking onto these keywords. If your resume have those keywords in that, in your resume, definitely you are going to get a call back. If not, whatever app you make use of, and if it doesn't have the job requirements from the recruiter side, it's going to be a waste. So probably we would prefer a custom-made resume.
Sir, can you explain about the probability of being working as a university lecturer in Canada?
In Canada,
Yeah.
the thing is, again, in Canada, to all the people who are attending this session, let me bring out a one point. Canada is a country in which you cannot give a job to a person who is outside the country, residing outside the country. I would like to just detail that one. A company in US or a company in UAE or Gulf country can give you a job if you are qualified. But Canada is the country where no company is allowed to give a job to a person who is residing outside of Canada. The only exemption is given for the IT field and those who are coming through exchanges. Like some companies in Canada may have some branches in India. So such sort of exchanges are possible. Other than that, no company in Canada can offer a job to a person who is residing outside Canada. If any of the participants attending this webinar has received, or any of your friends have received any job offering from Canada, 99% I can guarantee that it's going to be a fake. So keep in mind, from Canada, no one is going to get a job who is residing outside of that Canada. Again, One peculiar feature of this country is that in Canada, all the education you had outside of Canada is not valid. So that's the reason most of the people, once they come to Canada, they take their own degree from Canada, within Canada. Only then these are being recognized. So most of the cases outside the degrees outside of Canada, even if it is US, they won't recognize it as a degree. So these are some issues that's confined with this country. So these are the political stance based on the recruitment or the immigration policies they have been adopted. So a job in Canada for for a person outside Canada it's never going to happen.
So, sir, what about the probability for this immigration pilot programs in Canada? This is my personal
Immigration,
question.
yeah, okay. Immigration, it's a very good country which promotes immigration. The thing is that it's much bigger in size, almost 3-4 times of our India, but the population is just less than that of Kerala. It's around 30 million or something. Even our Kerala is having more population or almost a similar population than that of Canada. So the country is really promoting immigration. But the problem with immigrating to Canada, first thing is weather or the climate. You should expect to live in -17, -20 degrees is the one which I receive at Toronto, where I live. Toronto is the uh, out of the cities in Canada is the place somewhere you get a better climate. As you move away and away, you get more and more it get more and more colder. So probably if you are moving towards north, you can expect -40, -45, maybe for around 5-6 months. So keep in mind about the climate of this country also. Rest everything is fine.
Thank you, sir. I think we have no more questions. So, on behalf of Universal Engineering College, I would like to express our profound gratitude to our speaker, Mr. Nikhil Valsan, for this webinar series. And also, I would express our sincere thanks to Ms. Remya VR for the welcome address and all a very warm thanks to all the staff members who made the seminar a grand success. Once again, thank you, everyone. And we appreciate your effort for being here. And there is one note that we have posted our feedback link in the chat box of YouTube as well as on the Zoom. Please fill it to ensure your attendance. Thank you, sir.
I would just like to add a note.
Okay, sir.
Like yeah, normally we were expecting the student range around for 50 to 60 audience. That's what I expected. And again, it's only a 1 hour time limit, so maybe many of the slides I had to skip it off. So if any of you have any questions or any queries regarding any career or any sort of immigration questions, you can contact me. You can just email me. Probably if I am busy, I may not be replying, but anyhow, maybe after 2 or 3 days, I will contact back as soon as possible. If you have any questions, you can send me to my email.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you again. Thanks again for joining us today. Thank you. Stay
Okay.
safe and stay healthy.
Okay.